In the middle of the 20th century, the telephones started ringing all across America as rumors of my existence started circulating. Even in those dim and distant days, I could hear the insect buzz of a million conversations from California to Metropolis and back again. An entire continent was waking up to realize that their lives were soon to change forever.
Lois Lane, Luther. Lois Luther. Don't be such a jerk, Chief. It's 6 a.m. and some of us have social lives. No, we haven't heard the radio. What's happened?
Who knows, sweetheart? Because Washington just called and promised us the story of the century. What's the inside scoop? Well, between you and me, kid, rumor has it the Soviets just developed a brand new kind of superweapon.
My fellow Americans, the Soviet authorities released to the world secret government pictures of a costumed individual more effective than our hydrogen bomb, an alien Superman committed to communist ideals whose very existence threatens to alter our position as a world superpower forever.
Great Caesar's ghost. Superman spotted in Denver. Superman sighted in Nebraska. Superman seen hovering over a field in Arkansas. What the hell's going on here, Lois? It's like the whole damn country seeing red capes under their beds.
Pentagon just confirmed 3 more superpowers, Chief. Strength, speed, and flight. Receptionist also added super breath when I offered her $20.
Super breath? What in God's name is super breath? Is everybody on this planet going nuts?
That's absolutely correct, sir. I was just coming off duty when I saw a human-shaped figure zip past me, and then I heard laughing up there in the clouds. Rumor has it his bosses back in Moscow are pushing for a full-blown invasion in a matter of weeks now.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman! Superman! Strange visitor from another world, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, as the champion of the common worker, fights a never-ending battle for Stalin, socialism, and the international expansion of the Warsaw Pact. Superman, pride of the Soviet state, symbol of our military might.
Give me a break. Who writes this stuff?
Let our enemies beware. There is only one superpower now.
The Feds, the Army, and the CIA are all officially obsolete, boys and girls. Call STAR Labs and get me Dr. Lex Luthor on the phone. The Cold War just evolved into a whole new animal.
Board 11, knight to f7, checkmate. Board 12, rook to b3, checkmate. Board 14, queen to f4, checkmate. One moment, young man, just let me switch off this portable tape recorder I designed in the washroom this morning. I'm teaching myself Urdu to keep my mind busy while I'm reading and playing chess with the monkeys. I assume you're Agent James Olsen, of course? You had an appointment, Agent Olsen. Please, step into my lab and let me show you where I am with this anti-Superman deterrent you're paying such ludicrous amounts of money for.
Holy smokes. Well, this is even worse than I thought. When are you actually going to start working on this thing, Doctor? Because it doesn't look like you've done a thing in 3 damn months.
Here, just tell the president that he can use this formula I scribbled together to balance the federal budget. If he leaves me alone, I'll give him a permanent cure for inflation, too.
What? You balanced the budget just like that?
No, I gave him the formula to balance the budget, young man. The Treasury will have to punch in the numbers. Solving problems is just like eating or breathing for me. And this Superman you're all so worried about is just another problem. Rest assured, I'll be in touch when I've cracked it.
Why is the volume turned down so low, honey? It's a quiz show. You love quiz shows.
I'm teaching myself how to lip read, Lois. It only just occurred to me this afternoon that I didn't know how. You can turn it back up again if it's bothering you.
What bothers me is talking to someone between chess moves. Don't tell me. Another computer system you designed on the way home from work?
I can't help it, darling. People are just too easy to beat. Is that the first edition of the morning paper?
Only technically. Russia winning the Cold War, Russia winning the space race. Stalin's Russian Superman is watching your every move from the skies. I feel like we've been printing the same depressing story for months now.
Daily Planet, Sputnik, Metropolis, Superman, Space Race, Sputnik, Globe, Metropolis. Good grief! How could I have been such an idiot? This is Lex Luthor, STAR, clearance code 1350 Bravo. I want to speak to the president, and I don't care if he's in a meeting. This is indescribably more important, young lady.
What's going on, Lex? What's happened? Have you figured out a way to beat Superman
I'm
or something?
sorry, darling, but I'm afraid that is official government information on a need-to-know capacity now. Ike, Lex here, sir. I need 100 technicians, $10 million, and permission to crash a Soviet satellite in a highly populated area. Of course, you can think for a minute.
I had made quite an impression in the 14 weeks since I made my journey from the farmlands to Moscow. Some still thought me a trick of the light or an urban myth, but each new day saw another super feat or some death-defying rescue. In my more introspective moments, I even wondered if the people were behaving more carelessly in the hope that they might catch a glimpse of their gaudy circus clown.
Comrade Secretary, this is a priority alert. We have lost control of Sputnik 2 and the satellite is plummeting towards Earth's atmosphere.
The Americans. They must have sabotaged us. How else could a satellite just change course like that?
Flight trajectory looks like it's heading for a populated area somewhere in the upper hemisphere, sir. North of Peru, north of Cuba. Oh my God! It's coming down in America!
They called me a soldier, but that just wasn't true. I was never a soldier. Soldiers always follow orders. A soldier knows and hates his enemy. A soldier only fights and dies for his own people. I just fought for what was right. Sputnik 2 weighed 5,000 pounds. This mass multiplied by an acceleration factor of 100 meters per second would have delivered a force powerful enough to level the entire city. In hindsight, I could have vaporized it with my heat vision, slowed its descent with my super breath, or even atomized the craft with a calculated blow. Instead, I chose the most exciting action. The powers were still new to me then, you understand. Exactly 3 seconds after hitting the roof of the newspaper office, I realized the damage done to the building's suspension. A cluster of support cables groaned and snapped. People below screamed for someone to save them, not my people. But I never refuse a cry for help. All the lies they spread about me, the propaganda they engineered at the height of the Cold War, none of it mattered for a while on that bright afternoon. Just for a single moment, they realized I was here to save them.
Oh my God.
6 million lives spared, and an incident that might have sparked a war averted. And my most potent memory of that day was 5.5 feet tall and wearing Chanel No. 5. She felt it too. I know she did. But neither of us could act on this impulse. Not while she had a gold ring on her third finger and a creased photograph of a somber, red-headed scientist in her purse. Centuries later, after 1,000 interpretations of this meeting, a famous poet would write an alternate history of the world, where Lois Luther and I became lovers. His story would go on to win the Pulitzer Prize and become the biggest selling fictional book of all time. Even now, I still don't know what appeals to people about this notion, what chord it struck with the public imagination. And I don't suppose we ever will in this lifetime.
Magnificent, isn't he? Absolutely magnificent. I knew these random acts of heroism wouldn't be confined to the parameters of Mother Russia.
What made you so sure he'd actually be able to save us, Dr. Luther?
Mathematics, Olson. Pure mathematics. Now, make sure they raise that satellite from the water precisely as I described. The information he left on that hull is essential, especially if our dear friend in the White House expects me to build him a Superman of our own.
Weeks pass, and 1,000 rescues later, they decided to throw a welcome parade for me. I can remember every single silly detail of that day in Red Square. Every face in the crowd, every pimple on every face of every cheering worker. Their poor, confused expressions at this champion from the farmlands, who couldn't stand still for more than 10 seconds at a time.
Don't tell me there's another emergency, Superman.
A chemical plant on fire, 3,000 miles west of Vladivostok. Just give me 10 or 15 minutes.
He's got the attention span of a spastic 2-year-old, hasn't he? Imagine not even being able to sit through your own damn parade.
Well, what's he supposed to do, Captain? Stand there and grin like an idiot when he can hear people screaming for their lives?
How could you bring this alien from the Ukraine into our inner circle to this degree?
Because they love him, my boy. He was raised to believe in everything I stand for, and he makes Russia feel as indestructible as he is.
But I'm the one you've been grooming for the top. I've been preparing for this since I was 8 years old. If Superman succeeds you, he could be there for 1,000,000 years for all we know.
Who cares if he succeeds me? You made chief of the NKVD by 25, Peter.
So what are you saying? That it all ends here? That I've peaked before I'm 30?
No, I'm saying you should watch your tongue and remember who you're speaking to. My jealous little captain. Bear in mind you're only one of a number of illegitimate children I have out there, you know.
What's wrong, Superman? You look so sad.
I hope this isn't anything to do with my terrible Russian.
It's just this whole Superman Day fuss. Parties and parades. Just aren't really me.
Oh, I know what you mean. There's always something being held in my honor back on Paradise Island, too.
I hope tonight isn't too boring for you.
Great, Hera, no! Not in the slightest. I'm actually having a wonderful time. I mean, think about it. How often do I get to meet someone like me?
I see someone's enjoying herself, eh?
Oh, Superman's really nice, Mother. You should talk to him. He's really not like the other men at all. You know, he seems a few inches taller.
That Diana would make a fine wife when she makes her voyage to the man's world, Superman. Just imagine what kind of children you could raise, eh?
I'd prefer to choose my own wife, Comrade Stalin. Besides, this notion you have that I'd ever want to lead the party is really quite a misconception. I'm scanning Moscow for your chief of police, sir. I noticed he isn't at the party, and I just wanted to make sure he's okay. There's no sign of him anywhere.
Oh, for God's sake. Who cares about Peter Roslov?
I care about everybody, sir. Ah, there he is. You'll have to excuse me for a moment, comrade. Catch.
What are you doing here, Superman?
You weren't at the party, and I just wondered what happened to you, Peter. You've been acting quite irrational lately, and I'm genuinely concerned.
What are you talking about, you idiot? You don't even know me. And would you please stop fixing things? You're driving me out of my mind.
I only fix things that are broken, Peter. Now please, take a seat. Let's just sit down and talk about whatever's getting you so upset here.
You mean besides the total stranger meddling in my affairs? Believe me, Superman. You're the last guy I can talk about my problems with.
He didn't actually invite you to the party, did he?
No. Because all Comrade Stalin wants to do now is show off his indestructible man of steel, my friend. The rest of us can go to hell.
This doesn't have to be a competition.
That's easy for you to say when you're streaking through the skies, Superman. Not so much fun when you're down here working in the gutters like the rest of us. Did you hear about the purge last week, Superman? 2 dissidents printing anti-Superman Day leaflets or something. I forget the details. All I remember is the boy. What are you looking at, boy? Don't you know it's against the law to stare at the chief of police? Bullets kill little boys too, you know. Go on, get out of my sight. Your parents are dead. Don't walk! Run! Weird little runt. Probably grow up just like his idiot father. The kid couldn't have been more than 9 years old. But his glare would have stopped the clock ticking. Those weren't a child's eyes. They looked too patient. I will never, ever forget the way that boy stared at me. Somebody said he threw himself into the Moscow River. Others said that he just disappeared into the sewers to lick his wounds and swear revenge. I shot his parents. What does that do to a boy, Superman? It wasn't until you appeared that I realized how horrible and vile my job really is, and I'm sick of it, Superman.
No. You know you're really going to hurt yourself soon if you don't cut out all this heavy drinking, Peter.
Damn you! They might all think you're wonderful now, But I know where this is going, alien. Your interference is going to be the worst thing that ever happened to us! You mark my words! Oh, Jesus. I've done such a terrible thing, Superman. Father made me so angry this morning, and I arranged...
What?
I said...
No, not you. 200 miles away. There's someone shouting for help in Moscow. Wait here.
Superman, help us!
You're wasting your time. Just get a doctor. What the hell does Superman know about medicine?
What are you talking about? He's Superman, you idiot! He can do anything!
Gentlemen, I believe Comrade Stalin's respiratory and enzyme systems are under attack from acute cyanide poisoning. I've already told the medical team to place him on total body monitoring while I work in the labs on an effective antitoxin. I'm sorry, Captain. You can't go in there.
Who the hell do you think you are, telling me where I can go, you little snot? Father? Oh my God. I've only ever seen him standing up before Superman. It's so horrible seeing him look this small and vulnerable. He looks just like a little rag doll.
Captain Roslov was devastated by the old man's death. We all were. He didn't rest until he found the man who poisoned him and had him shot in Red Square in full public view. I was so distracted by the whole thing, I was barely paying attention to events abroad.
This is unbelievable. I feel like I'm on the set of a science fiction movie or something. How is this stuff you've been building here even possible, for God's sake?
Because the world as we know it becomes a little more impossible every day, Agent Olson. What is it about the Man of Steel that makes my head work so much faster, eh?
I don't know, sir, but we're not complaining.
Norman Rockwell, apple pie, stars and stripes, and the 4th of July, Agent Olson. The president asked me to design a figure who might encapsulate all these things and give America back our much-needed swagger.
Holy smokes!
Young man, I'd like you to meet Superman 2.
Heck, no wonder Ike won't let the cameras within 100 yards of the freak. Our Superman looks just like I feel.
Hey, you want to keep it down, little guys? He might be a freak, but he also happens to be just about the last guy in the world you want to tick off. You know what I'm saying?
What the hell are you talking about, moron? We're 1 mile below the thing.
Buddy, our guy could hear a gnat take a leak in Indochina, my friend. Believe me, he's listening to every damn word.
Pardon me if my English isn't perfect, but these shores are off limits, comrade. Noses bled, heads pounded, birds became irradiated and dropped from the skies for 50 miles around. The effects were devastating. Absolutely devastating. The submarine was a Greyback-class SSG-574. Carrying 4 Regulus 1 missiles. 3 of them stayed where they should have. Good God! England, London, Oxford Street, and 258 innocent bystanders are dead before I even hit the ground. Even now, after all these years, I can still hear the sound of them snap. A second later, 1 single second, and the body count tripled. Perhaps you misunderstand. Your presence here is an aggressive act. This country doesn't need American protection. You are the monster here. You are the one who needs to be contained.
It's getting up! Kill it, Superman!
For God's sake, finish it off!
Go home and tell your president to mind his own affairs. Nobody wants you or your weapons here. Suddenly, the clock stopped. Time ground to a halt as it always does for our kind when a decision must be made. The duplicate and I exchanged glances, two moving objects on a static, frozen background. We both knew that one of us would have to make a choice. To this day, his true intentions remain a mystery to me. I often wonder if he really knew what he was doing when he kicked back into the sky, or if he understood perfectly and sacrificed himself.
Hello, everybody. We're very pleased to meet you.
Perhaps he looked into my eyes and glimpsed a future that he couldn't bear to see, choosing instead to spare himself the suffering. I'm afraid we'll never know for sure.
You know something weird? I've had the same dream almost every night since I was a little girl. I dream I'm falling through the clouds, and the Earth is getting closer and closer. But I'm never afraid because I know that you're there to catch me. Can you believe that? Almost every night, always in the nick of time. And now you're real, Superman. As real as any of this.
Lois, your husband's on the telephone, sweetheart.
Don't interrupt, Lois. This conversation has only been calculated to last 38 seconds. Our marriage is about to begin an indefinite sabbatical effective immediately. This time will be spent devising a plan to humiliate and defeat Superman, just as he has humiliated and defeated me.
Are you telling me that our marriage is over because Superman beat your monster in a fight?
What are you talking about? I don't care about the fight. The duplicate of that alien farm boy had the tenacity to beat me at chess last night.
I circled the world as I often did when troubled. The land, the sea, and the mountains blurred into a single stretch of endless gray beneath me. My heart told me to lead them, but my head told me that this completely contradicted everything my parents had ever raised me to believe in.
Superman?
Lana? Lana Lazarenko? I thought I heard you in the crowds earlier, but I couldn't be sure with all the chattering going on. My God, look at you. You haven't changed a bit since we used to cause all that trouble on the farm.
Me? What about you? I nearly died when the children showed me your picture in the paper.
Children?
Yes, Jordan and Mary. We spent all our money traveling from St. Petersburg for the funeral, and now we have to queue here for scraps with everyone else.
This isn't right, Lana. Give this woman something to eat, comrade. Her boy and girl haven't eaten since they got here, for God's sake.
But what about us, Superman? We're all hungry, and my own children here haven't eaten all day either.
Some of us haven't eaten in weeks.
You can't take care of everyone's problems.
Actually, I can, Lana. I could take care of everyone's problems if I ran this place. And to tell you the truth, there's no good reason why I shouldn't. Tell your friends they don't have to be scared or hungry anymore, comrades. Superman is here to rescue them.
You were supposed to steal Moscow, not Stalingrad. Superman lives miles away from Stalingrad. God, I would have expected a level 12 intelligence to be able to understand a blasted roadmap.
Where is he, Luthor? Where is Brainiac?
8 million Soviet citizens condemned to spend the rest of their lives no bigger than a full stop. Unless, of course, you managed to catch him in time, Man of Steel.
Game over, Luthor.
58 seconds? You're slowing down, Superman. Brainiac's ship was only 45,000 miles away.
Brainiac Central Processing Unit, Lex. I used it to access every file in the ship's database. I can't find any means of returning Stalingrad to its natural size.
Tell you what, I'm always reading how smart you are, how nothing we mortals can imagine is beyond President Superman's limitations. Correct? Well, now's your chance to prove them right, alien. Best of luck. Temper, Superman. Hardly the behavior one would expect when a foreign head of state pays a visit to America's most enterprising corporation.
And so this marked the end of the short-lived Luthor-Brainiac partnership, but only the beginning for the tragic people of Stalingrad. The Soviet Union was just a fragile assembly when Superman first came to power. 2 decades later, and the whole world is our ally. Poverty, disease, and ignorance have been virtually eliminated from the Warsaw Pact states. Disobedience to the party has been virtually eliminated.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, comrade. Fireworks displays almost ready. Just remember, I was in here drinking when someone else lit the fuse, right?
The usual arrangement, comrade.
My apologies for interrupting a perfect evening of totalitarian oppression, but I've got a message here for anyone who values breathing. In precisely 4 minutes' time, Moscow's Superman Museum will erupt into a beautiful flickering fireball. Please stay where you are if you'd like to make a stand against the tactics of my terrorist organization. Otherwise, I'd recommend you run like hell. Batman out.
I thought he was dead and buried.
It doesn't matter. Just evacuate the building. They're saying he's targeted 5 official premises this time.
It's him. We've got him. Red 4 to squadron leader. We've got him trapped on the corner of the First National Bank. He's not getting away this time, comrade.
What are you waiting for? A confession? Bring him down hard, you idiots!
In pursuit, squadron leader. I repeat, all units are in pursuit.
Batman, a force of chaos in my world of perfect order. The dark side of the Soviet dream. Rumored to be 1,000 murdered dissidents, they said he was a ghost, a walking dead man. Anarchy in black.
Target just landed on the 1020 and is skipping across the carriages. All ground units, please converge!
Air team, this is ground control. We just caught him swinging on a flagpole over Tverskaya.
I think he's injured.
What?
Batman just took half a dozen bullets. Move in and let's finish this off.
Everybody, back! You hear me? Nobody gets near him until everyone's in position!
We need a perfect circle around us and everybody focusing their sights on this lunatic. Are we clear?
Crystal clear, sir.
Okay, let's see who's smiling now, genius. Damn it!
Where were you, Superman? Where were you when we actually needed you for once?
Peter, what's wrong?
We had Batman exactly where we wanted him, but he still managed to get away and leave my men looking like drooling idiots. I say it's time we got tough and cracked a few skulls just like we did in the good old days.
No, there must be no killing, Peter. That was Comrade Stalin's way, not mine.
What? How dare you ridicule the legacy of my father? He was 10 times the man you'll ever—
Excuse me, Peter. There's been a signal malfunction 800 miles away. 2 trains are about to collide. By the time the words had reached his ears, I was already in Minsk and had spotted 3 other emergencies, which merited my immediate attention. Princess Diana of Themyscira was perhaps the only person I could really talk to in those days. An outstanding convert to communism. Diana had opted to leave her Amazonian paradise and fight with me for equality in man's world. Diana became my international peace ambassador, the greatest champion for social justice the world had ever known. So, how was America?
Disgusting, Superman. Absolutely disgusting. It's 1978 and children are still sleeping in the streets over there.
The tanker, Superman! The tanker's going to blow!
Not while there's a breath left in my body.
You're such a show-off, you know that?
Sometimes I wonder if Luther and the Americans are right, Diana. Perhaps we do interfere with humanity too much. Sometimes I worry the people don't even like me.
Oh, the people love you, Superman. Some more than you'd ever believe.
Is the lady's identification valid?
Papers are in order. Face matches the photo in the book and the fingerprints look authentic enough. I guess this must mean today's another wedding anniversary, huh, Miss Lane?
That's Mrs. Luther, gentlemen. Lois Lane's just for the byline, remember?
Ma'am?
Happy anniversary, Lex. Here's to another 23 glorious years, darling.
Lois, what a wonderful surprise. Apologies in advance for not buying you anything, but I've been reading 13 fascinating books this morning. Leave the usual present on the desk, and you have my word that one of my assistants can open it later, sweetheart.
Who was that red-headed guy I just passed in the hall? He looked kind of familiar.
Well, he shouldn't have. That was Mr. James Olson, the Pentagon's anti-Superman advisor, and probably the next director of the CIA. Olson commissioned LexCorp to develop what we think could be the most effective anti-Superman deterrent yet.
Is that what you're working on now?
I'm sorry, darling, but I'm afraid that's classified information. Speaking of which, JFK and Norma Jean are joining us for dinner tonight. Apparently, Jack's got some UFO business he said I'd be interested in.
Oh, Lex, don't you ever stop. This was supposed to be the one night of the year we always guarantee we're going to spend some time together.
You don't understand, Lois. Jack tells me Brainiac and Superman aren't the only aliens who visited the Earth. It seems that another alien crashed in Roswell, New Mexico back in 1947, and the United States of America have an extraterrestrial of our very own. They say the passengers sustained terrible injuries when the ship crashed and died a little later, but an object was recovered from his finger, which interests me enormously. Hoover covered up the incident, hid the body inside some desolate airbase, and then erased said airbase from the map. All fairly standard procedure. Checkmate, incidentally.
Listen, bring Norma Jean and Jack to dinner if you want, Lex. I'm not sure I even care anymore.
Oh, of course you still care, Lois Luther. Why else would you have chosen to live alone all these years, eh?
I guess you're right, Lex. Maybe I am just a one-man woman.
People are saying that the explosion tore the space station in half, Commander Oslov. They say those cosmonauts would have died if Superman hadn't spotted that flash on the surface when the oxygen reserves caught fire. Personally, I don't think we should be spending money on a space program when there are Americans going hungry out there. What do you think, sir?
I think nobody like you doesn't need to be convinced, moron. Now shut up and get me to the theater before I have you shot for insolence. For God's sake, man! You trying to get us killed?
Believe me, comrade, you're going to die a lot more painfully than this.
Jesus God Almighty!
I heard you wanted to see me, Commander. Well, let's hear what you have to say.
What? How dare you speak to me like that? Do you realize who I am?
Your name is Pyotr Yosef Roslov, illegitimate son of the late Joseph Stalin, and currently head of the security services. You're a vain man, a cruel man, and obsessively jealous of Superman. It's no secret that you harbor political ambitions of your own. Who you are is meaningless. The question is why you're putting the word around that you want to talk to me.
I take it, that it's safe to speak down here?
Naturally, Commander.
Then I will get straight to the point. Lex Luthor and his friends in the CIA have an interesting proposition for you, Batman. They want you to kill Superman.
And why should Luthor's latest plan be any different from all his previous failures?
They're using information our people found in the rocket ship that brought Superman to Earth. And it seems they figured out his weakness. Now we're only going to get one shot at this. Our only hope of finally replacing that alien with a qualified human figurehead.
You're joking, of course. Why would I put someone like you in charge of the system, Roslov? You'd be twice the monster Superman is. 10 times as bad.
Supposing he's immortal, can you imagine an eternity of communist rule under that tyrant? Whose regime does the master strategist think he'd stand a better chance of toppling, eh? Use your head, Batman.
Okay, it's a deal. But understand this. Once Superman is dead and buried, I'm coming after you so hard and so fast that nothing on this earth will ever be able to stop me. I swear on the memory of my mother and father, you're going to follow him to an early grave.
You mean you can try? Ladies and gentlemen, comrades from every quarter of the Soviet Union, please raise your glasses and join me in a toast to Superman in this birthday celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, to President Superman!
President Superman! You haven't seen Diana, have you, Tony? She was supposed to meet me back at the Presidium hours ago.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about her, Superman. As far as I recall, Wonder Woman's more than capable of looking after herself.
Good God! This is outrageous!
I think it's pretty clear who's behind this.
10 seconds, Superman. Batman said you have 10 seconds to find me. The bat signal was just a means of attracting your attention. It seems that this is where things get really serious.
What have you done to her, you animal?
We ordinary people may lack your great speed or your X-ray vision, Superman, but never underestimate the power of the human mind.
I'm afraid it takes more than a few smoke bombs and an explosive in your small intestine to beat me, you know. Oh, sun lamps. Wonderful. Let them burn for a few thousand years and I might get a heat rash. Good God! How did you do that? How did you get so strong? Not that it matters, of course. A well-placed blast of heat vision and—
You don't really get it, do you? You don't have heat vision anymore, Superman! Strange visitor from another planet, last son of a dying world. Everything they needed to defeat you could be found in those 2 phrases, Superman! Building solar lamps to simulate the rays of your native red sun was Lex Luthor's idea, in case you were wondering.
Run, Superman! Get out of the light and your powers come back!
You never should have come here, Superman. You should have died in your own world and kept your alien fingers out of human affairs.
Diana, can you hear me? Please listen carefully, because what I'm about to ask you is our only chance against him now. I know breaking the lasso is going to hurt, but there's really no other way we're going to beat him, Diana. As your oldest and dearest friend, I'm begging you to do whatever it takes here.
Wonder Woman! No!
Get the hell out of my way, little man!
He's using you! You don't understand? All he cares about is the power!
No more tricks, Batman! No more solar lamps or magic lassos. Just a few hours brain surgery and a job in a Moscow bank for you. Now, tell me, who set me up?
Come now, Superman. Surely you know I'd rather martyr myself for the cause than end my days as one of your ridiculous Superman robots. Why else would I have swallowed a bomb before you and I went head to head? Oh, and by the way, it was Peter who betrayed you.
Superman! Are you okay? I found the generator just like you asked me to, and tossed it into the Norwegian Sea, but I think I might have hurt myself when you made me snap that cord. It was like, I don't know, something just kind of switched off in my head or something. I mean...
Peter?
Riots in California, the White House bombed by communist sympathizers, Texas and Detroit seriously talking about independence. I'm afraid you won't be getting my vote next time, Jack.
Ah, but remove Superman from the world stage, and a very different picture emerges, Dr. Luthor. And now, we finally have the means to do it. Our dead friend in the solution here seems to have belonged to a group or corps of similar beings charged with the duty of policing the universe, possibly as some kind of space cops.
What's the lantern for?
The ring was attached to the alien's third finger, and as you can see, features a lantern of near identical design. Unfortunately, nobody at the base has been able to guess their relation, but we hoped you might be able to shed a little light on the situation.
Dear God, Jack. Are you people really this stupid? What you're looking at here is a weapon, old friend.
Time passed and my grip grew tighter. Barely a decision was made across the length and breadth of the Soviet Union without my permission in some form or another. The population was largely grateful and obedient, but the freedom fighters inspired by the death of Batman remained something of a problem. My desire for order and perfection was matched only by their dreams of violence and chaos. I offered them utopia, but they fought for the right to live in hell. Diana, of course, was the only one among us who truly knew the meaning of that word. Her days had become a monotonous timetable of bathing, eating, and sleeping, unable to even speak for long months after her experience in Siberia.
Commander Roslov? Where have you been?
What? Spent a little time in hospital? Quite true, dear Lana, quite true.
Oh my God.
On my 63rd birthday, Brainiac calculated that the world now contained almost 6 billion communists. Almost 6 billion citizens, and hardly anyone complained, even in private. The Batmen seem to be responding well to their new personalities, Brainiac. I think we can safely reintroduce them to society soon without any serious concerns.
A steady hand and some pioneering neurosurgery, and even the most persistent troublemakers can become productive workers, Comrade Superman.
What about America?
Still a war zone, unfortunately, and still refusing the aid packages we've offered them. Wouldn't it be more humane to just invade their shores and make them fall in line with the rest of the world?
Out of the question, old friend. America will fall like every other outdated world economy. All we have to do is wait and pick up the pieces. Of that much I was certain. All I had to do was bide my time and the whole world would finally be as perfect as God had intended it to be. It didn't occur to me for a moment what Luthor had been plotting in his lead-lined, soundproofed laboratory. President Luthor ceased trading with the rest of the world in January 2001 and created a strict internal market where he had absolute control over every dollar bill. By February, he had doubled the standard of living for every American citizen, and he doubled it again in March. But he wasn't doing this for the people. Lex Luthor couldn't stand the people. Like everything else in his miserable life, this was just the first stage in the master plan to finally eliminate me.
So, what makes you think he'll try to invade us?
Because Superman is a sick totalitarian control freak, Jimmy, and for the first time in his life, things are going wrong. Invasion is the only realistic option he's got left, if he's serious about this perfect world he's always talked about.
But the second he invades, we're mashed potatoes, Lex. What makes you think you can go head-to-head with the guy now that he's more solar-charged than ever?
My indefatigable superiority complex, Olsen. Now shut up and take a deep breath.
Where the hell are we?
Purgatory, limbo, call it whatever you were raised to believe in. I myself refer to it as the Phantom Zone. This is where I can talk outside the limits of super hearing and work beyond the range of those eerie cobalt eyes. Code name Green Light. is the best hope we've had in almost half a century of knocking that big latex circus freak on his indestructible backside.
Surrendering that level of power to someone else sounds remarkably out of character for you, Chief. Why didn't you just hang on to the ring for yourself?
Because the stupid little trinket's powered by honesty and willpower, I'm sorry to say. That said, it didn't take long to find some noble idiot with the necessary qualifications. Do you remember Hal Jordan?
The name rings a bell. Wasn't he some kind of pilot?
Only one of the most decorated pilots in military history. You probably read the story about his plane going down in Malaysia back in 1983 when we were still trying to drive the communists out of the South Pacific. He was captured by the enemy, tortured every day, and fed on a diet of insects until he dropped to a skeletal 90 pounds. Any normal man would have lost his mind or died in the conditions Jordan endured, but he lasted 4 years like this, and it was all thanks to his incredible willpower. Under the correct circumstances, I really believe that Colonel Jordan has what it takes to bring Superman down by himself, Jimmy. But Jordan's only one of several surprises I've got up the sleeve of my $10,000 three-piece.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight.
Let those who worship evil's fight.
Beware my power.
Bring lanterns light.
I can see now why your Secretary of State calls Themyscira Paradise Island, Your Highness. If the absence of men means the world can be this perfect, perhaps it's time we banned them from Metropolis, too. But surely there are some things you miss out there. After all, you and Superman were something of an item when you wore your high heels and called yourself Wonder Woman.
Superman had a clearness in his eyes which I thought separated him from the rest of his gender. But the truth is that he's just as dangerous and power-obsessed as any other male. A fact I regret that I learned to my cost some years ago. He's a very charismatic individual, and his apparent sincerity fooled me for a long time. If you've ever met him in the flesh, you'll understand how his skin almost crackles.
Oh, I understand perfectly, Your Highness. In fact, if I wasn't so happily married, I'd almost find him attractive myself.
I've often wondered why a woman of your character remains by the side of that hairless Machiavelli, Mrs. Luthor. It's quite clear that the only reason he even ran for president was to create a more effective platform from which he might ultimately destroy Superman.
Then the end justifies the means. For all we know, Roosevelt only ran for office because he liked skidding around the White House in a wheelchair. But he still beat Hitler, right?
Why did you come here, Mrs. Luthor?
To make sure Lex has your support when he launches his big attack on Superman inside the next 24 hours.
How could you do this, Brainiac? What kind of monster would trap an entire civilization inside a sample jar? It's the most grotesque thing I've ever seen. Failing to regrow these people has been the black spot of my career.
Perhaps, but our biggest concern at the moment should be events in North America. This is no longer a case of the one corner of the world where things didn't go to plan. The newly United States now pose a threat to everything you have ever accomplished, Superman. This is Luthor's ultimate death trap. He's spent almost 2 decades formulating this single assault, and my evidence suggests that things will be coming to a head shortly.
Any recommendations?
Strike first. Eliminate his power bases. Execute Luthor and complete the mission you started half a century ago.
But I don't want to invade them, Brainiac. Everything I've accomplished so far has been done by winning the argument.
If we attack now, I estimate a total of only 6.5 million dead, and a conflict lasting no more than 8 hours. However, every 30 minutes you delay the decision will approximately double the variables involved. Time is clearly of the essence here.
Unless, of course, you surrender immediately and drop the estimated fatalities to an aging Kryptonian despot and his cringing robotic manslave.
Luthor!
Tell me, is it true you and Brainiac spend every night of the week playing chess to stalemate until one of you breaks down and starts sobbing for Mother?
What are you doing here, Luthor? I thought you'd be busy priming your ultimate weapons for the big attack.
I came here to fight you on my own terms, Man of Steel. Are you ready to lock horns with the most dangerous mind in the world?
Brainiac, what the hell are you doing?
I couldn't allow him to debate with you, Superman. Entering a conversation with a level 9 intelligence is more dangerous than any death trap. My calculations were that he could have talked you into suicide within 14 minutes.
So that's it. This is how it all ends.
No, there's still the matter of the American forces preparing to attack Superman. But the decision is now quite simple. Do you meet aggression with aggression, or do you allow these people to take apart everything you've ever accomplished?
Green Lantern Corps, this is Colonel Hal Jordan. Maintain a speed of Mach 6 and pick an altitude where you aren't going to kill any birds.
Roger that, Colonel Jordan.
Brainiac, prepare the ship for a full-scale assault. You take the West Coast and I'll take the East. We can converge in Washington at 1600 hours and seize the White House together. Damn you for making me do this, Luthor! Damn you to hell, you lunatic!
Mayday! Mayday! Unidentified flying object heading south-southwest at 6 times the speed of sound. Prepare for attack! Prepare for attack!
What? Superman!
Stay cool, gentlemen. Don't be intimidated. This is exactly what we trained for.
Like hell it is, sir! He's gonna kill us all!
Not in my lexicon, Raynor. Now shut up and think green thoughts.
What in God's name?
Remember the President's design, boys. This has got to be a box within an infinite number of boxes. Each layer should be 1 micron thin, so the entire structure is impossible to breach.
I can't hold it, sir. My mind's starting to wander.
So bite your lip and count to 10, Gardner. It doesn't matter what he's hitting us with here. You freak out now, and they'll be sipping vodkas in the Pentagon by sundown, soldier!
Oh my God!
Think fresh pictures! Think fresh... Huh?
A thought-based weapon against someone who can move at 10 times the speed of thought? Not too smart, Colonel Jordan.
Ground control to Wonder Women. Are you ready to engage?
Ready and willing, Commander.
Don't make me do this, Diana. I don't want to hurt you, but I will if I have to. Your choice, Princess! Diana, no!
Release all those supervillains Luthor created over the years. Just hit him with everything we've got!
I'm going to have to ask you to evacuate the area, Mrs. Luthor. I respect the fact that you're taking a stand like this, but we're destroying everything within a 5-mile radius of the Pentagon, and I don't want anyone hurt.
I'm sorry, Superman, but this is my home and I'm not budging an inch.
America is finished. I'm afraid you don't have anything left to hit me with.
Actually, we've still got 1 shell left in our arsenal, Superman. If you think I'm kidding, just take a look at the letter in my inside pocket.
With the greatest respect, Mrs. Luthor, I hardly think a brown manila envelope is going to stop me in my tracks, even if it does have a presidential seal.
What am I doing? Well, they say the pen is mightier than the sword, Lois, so I'm distilling everything Superman hates and fears about himself into a single sentence.
Superman, are you okay?
Oh my God, what have I done? All I wanted was to put an end to all the wars and famines. I only wanted the best for everyone. You've got to believe me.
What the hell was in this letter?
Why don't you just put the whole world in a bottle, Superman?
I'm just as bad as you were, Brainiac. I'm just another alien, bullying a less developed species, and it's morally unjustifiable. Switch off your weapon systems, comrade. We're going home.
But you can't stop now when you're on the brink of utopia, Superman. Denying them perfection is more morally corrupt than enforcing it.
At least leaving them alone means they can make their own mistakes again, comrade. Luthor's right. We weren't born here, and we've no right to interfere.
And that is your final decision? Is there nothing I can say which might change your mind on this matter?
Nothing, Brainiac. Absolutely nothing.
Well, I'm afraid that's just unacceptable, Man of Steel. Did you really think you could reprogram me, little thing? A level 12 intelligence? Did you really think I couldn't outmaneuver those clumsy human fingers? The notion is preposterous.
Help! For God's sake, somebody help him!
I wasn't under your command. You were under mine, Superman. Expanding and consuming country by country until an entire world ran to my ideals.
What happened to the power?
Cut off by those clumsy human fingers, he said he was adept at outmaneuvering, dear Lois. Letting me into the heart of this thing was his first mistake, darling. But the big one was underestimating the resourcefulness of the human mind. Your move, Superman. Nice of you to save the CPU before you squashed him, alien. But will you have the decency to leave Earth now that you realize what a sociological disaster you've been causing?
First, I plan to bury this in the Sea of Tranquility, Luthor. Then we can figure out whether or not I can safely stay behind on planet Earth.
59 seconds to detonation.
What?
57 seconds to detonation.
Oh my God! He must have had a self-destruct mechanism encoded into the hard drive in case something like this ever happened. The 6 mini black holes that were powering his engines have been primed to go off. What are we going to do, Superman?
What do you think, Luthor?
But power on this level being unleashed is going to wipe out everything in a 15 million mile radius. Even you aren't that fast.
Don't count on it, mister.
What's going on? What's he doing?
Something wonderful, Jimmy.
Lex, I know you're not going to hear this message for a while, or even see the explosion until the light reaches you. But there are some things I have to say before I go. Well played, old friend.
Superman gone, Brainiac gone. The world ready to embrace Luthorism even more readily than before. One could almost be forgiven for thinking that this had all been worked out to the 10th decimal point 40 years ago, eh? Checkmate, Superman.
For the first time in human history, the world had tasted death, and so they gloried in their triumph, as excited by Superman's defeat as they were by Brainiac's. Lex Luthor and Jimmy Olsen won a landslide victory in 2004, re-elected to the White House with a staggering 101% of the vote. Freed from Superman's all-seeing eye, the Soviet Empire descended into chaos for a while, until the Batmen reappeared and brought justice to the streets again. Within 6 months, Luthor was running their economy. Within a year, even Moscow had signed up with his global United States. Setting up home in the Winter Palace, he combined his own ideas with notes from the archives, creating a brand new style of government, unlike anything we'd ever seen.
I almost hate to admit it, but Superman and Brainiac actually had some surprisingly good ideas here, boys.
By his 75th birthday, Luthor had retired the conventional politicians and created a one-world government composed of artists, writers, philosophers, and scientists. On the cusp of the 4th millennium, as he lay dying in his cryo-chamber with his dear wife beside him, he was asked by newsbots about his greatest accomplishment.
Defeating the alien, my boy. What in the world could possibly compare with saving my people from Superman?
And, with a smile on his face, Dr. Lex Luthor died. Metropolis was where he was born and where he asked to be laid to rest in a geometric maze of his own design. I thought for a moment that his widow might recognize me at the funeral. Would she see through the glasses and the dark blue suit of the disguise I created? But much to my surprise, she didn't. Not even for a second.
What's up, Mom? Are you okay?
Fine, Albert. Absolutely fine. I just had the strangest sense of déjà vu for a moment.
In many ways, Superman really did die in the outer reaches of the solar system all those centuries ago. Mankind had evolved to become the most advanced species in the known universe, inspired and led by 1 billion years of the Luthor lineage. Lena Luthor, the artist, Lumbar Luthor, the Imagineer, Lori Luth 145, the Mathemagician, Jordan Luth 1938, pioneering necronaut and the first man to set foot in the afterlife, Alex Al, Jordan Al, Lana Al, and of course Lex Luthor's great-grandson to the power 50, a young man called Jor-Al, whose IQ exceeded that of even his beloved ancestor. But he's been acting strange lately, working too hard and telling the world that our bright red sun that has dimmed my powers and aged my mind is in danger of consuming us. Could he be right, I wonder? Or is this to be the first time in countless years that a Luthor had made a mistake?
What happened, Jor-El? Didn't the Science Council listen to your warnings?
Listen? Those oversatisfied fools didn't even look at my readings. I gave them firm, substantiated evidence that the Earth is on the brink of collapsing into our own sun, and they tell me the planet's merely shifting its orbit. It's almost like they've nothing left to do but die. But I refuse to let their emptiness bring any harm to you, my little Kal-El.
Do we really have to send him so far back, Jor-El? The sun's rays were yellow in those days, their people weak and primitive. He's going to be so different from everyone.
But he'll be strong. He'll be fast. He'll be virtually indestructible. And he'll need these advantages to survive, my darling. Goodbye, my son. Go back and change the world so that we might not become this cold, complacent lot. Go back and bring a little light into our lives again.